right, folks, here we go. Game number 23, Morphy's Games of Chess. We got the fourth match game between Morphy and Lowenthal, held on July 23rd, 1858. All right, Morphy has white, and he launches the E-pawn. Lowenthal, E5, King's Gambit. The King's Gambit has been played, folks. All right, but Lowenthal doesn't take the offered pawn. He plays the bishop to C5. Good move. Good move, denying the gambit. All right, so anyway, declining the gambit. And this is no different than the second match game. Okay, they played this. But let me point out something which I didn't bring up previously in that second match game. If you're white, folks, you don't want to grab pawns. This you get into trouble here. Look at this. The queen comes right out. She gives a check. Now she's threatening mate on F2 with the help of that bishop on C5. All right, so you block out that queen, and lo and behold, look at this. You're getting into trouble. Check, right? You lost the rook in the corner. See that? It's a little trapped. We didn't touch on it. I want to bring it up for beginners, right? So there you go. You're down a rook. Forget about it. All right. You know, you box in the queen, but how long is that going to last? You know, you're down a whole rook. You can't give, look, folks, there's no opening line. You don't want to just drop rooks for no compensation whatsoever. All right. So here we go. I just want to bring that up. And this is why, if you see the next move Morphy makes, he made the knight to F3. See that? Now the pawn is threatened. Okay, now that pawn on E5 is threatened. There's no check on H4 because the knight. You're developing your pieces, folks. We're not grabbing pawns. We're not going for pawns. We're going for mate. This is the Morphy style we're talking about. This is Morphy. So, all right. Lowenthal protects E5 with D6, okay? And now we got, let's see, the next move, right? Here we go. Look at this. C3, preparing the D4 pawn push. All right. So anyway, here we go. We got Lowenthal playing bishop to G4, pinning the knight, which supports the D4 pawn push. All right. So here we go. Now, in the last game, this is exactly identical as the second match game, where Morphy played bishop to C4. All right. But here we go. This is the move in this game. He mixes it up. Look at this. Bishop E2. All right, Bishop E2. Here we go, folks. In the second, here's the notes, folks. In the second game, Morphy played Bishop to C4. The text move, which is that given by Staunton, is better. Some commend, okay, some commend H3. But it seems unnecessary if black is determined in any case to take the knight. You see that? Because now after queen takes, what did you really get for that? You just pushed a pawn. See, in the other game, Morphy developed a piece. And let me just check, make sure the move order. Let's see. He develops, yes, he develops the bishop on move 5 to C4. And Lowenthal took the knight anyway, see? And then he took back with the queen. And instead of having a pawn on H3, he's got the bishop developed. That's better. Get your pieces out. The soldiers, get them out into battle. And we touched on it in the other game. With pawn taken on, you know, there's a move, I think. Let's see, what did he do next? Was it knight? Yes, knight to king, knight here. Because if you notice, White's threatening this. He's just threatening to take. Now he's got his bishop and queen aiming on F7. See that? All right, we talked about it. All right, just reviewing it. But the bottom line here is that it's better to have the bishop, to have the piece out, than to have a measly pawn on H3 like this. See that? That's the difference. Folks, I know it's small, it's subtle, but everything counts. It all adds up, folks. This is what you're developing here. You're going to notice those little nuances. This is the difference between amateurs and masters. Those little nuances, those little things, they add up. And that's how you build an advantage, okay? So anyway, here is a whole different game. Because no, not H3. No, like I said, no, not Bishop C4. Bishop E2. All right, and what happens next? Here we go. Look at this. So bishop e2, and Lowenthal takes the knight. Look at this right off the bat. He just takes it, wastes no time. All right, this now we got a little different, right? The bishop takes back on f3. Okay, and here comes Lowenthal bringing the queen knight out first this time. The queen knight. All right, well, watch this now. Morphy launches the b pawn again like in the other game. But this time, here it is. Here's the notes. b4, right? A move which served him badly in the second game, but he follows it up very differently in the present instance, where there is a target for his pawn waiting at black's c6. See the knight sitting there now. So, Lowenthal moves the bishop, no other square to save him, right? All right. The bishop goes back to b6, which is safe. And now Morphy pushes it up some more. Look at this. So now it hits the knight. Okay. Lowenthal swings the knight to e7. All right. Now, so this is shaping up to be a whole different battle. You know, it's amazing. The game of chess, you got so many variations. Just one little move here and there changes the whole fight, you know. So now here we go. Morphy launches the d pawn. Okay, now Lowenthal takes. He takes the f pawn. This gives white a big center. See these pawns? c3, d4, e4, controlling key squares, folks, right here in the black territory. All right, so the whole game is basically shaping up where white has a space advantage, a big center, controlling key squares in the center, okay? Now, here's what the notes say. The notes say this. Watch the difference now. Here the old masters give, you should take this pawn here, right? Okay, this is why the c pawn was played. You take back, now you got center control again, but look at this. Black, remember the rule, folks. King-pawn games. Can you get in d5? If you can get it in safely, black equalizes. Well, look at this now, okay? Whether he takes, all right? I mean, the knight could come here. He could take back, right? Isolated d-pawn. See that? You play against that d-pawn. Maybe you don't even take back your pawn. You play against the d-pawn on d4, right? The bishop and knight, okay? But even here, the engine, look at the engine. They take your material. All right, let's go from there. Okay? And it's a whole different battle, right? So this is not bad for black. Not bad at all. What does it even say here? Look, it's actually giving black the advantage at this point. See that? Not much. I mean, anything under a pawn, I said it once, I'll say it again. You know, anything under a pawn is, you know, it's a fight. Okay? It's no big advantage, especially with amateurs. All right, so anyway, if white advances to keep the pawn side by side, all right, but now he fills the hole, folks. He comes right in. Again, putting pressure on d4. You see this? So now to hold on to that, the only move is bishop there, all right? You develop your piece, and now what do you got? I mean, I don't know. You get this guy over here, and it's a whole other game. Now, if you want to bring the knight, look, if you bring your knight here, you hang the d-pawn, right? If you bring it here, you block the queen, you hang your d-pawn. So look at white. I saw in the engine, they said this was the move. Here was the idea, okay? I mean, all right, the engine's going with this first, I guess. I saw it was deciding on pushing a4 to try to trap that bishop. See that? All right, so he plays this. Makes a little hole to run to. So I guess to take pressure off of d4, you could push this up. But here they're playing queen d3 anyway. I'm looking at the engine up here, folks. You see this? I'm looking over here, looking at the engine over here. But anyway, all right, it's a whole other game. You know what I mean? Black's doing fine, though. Look, white's got a slight, a 0.21, like I said. Under a pawn, it's pretty much a fight, right? Could go many different ways. Totally different game, and this is what the old masters recommend, okay? So there you go, right? What does Lowenthal do? Like I said, he takes on f4. All right, now Morphy develops a piece, taken back. See this? Develop it right away. Speedy development. All right, here we go. Well, Lowenthal has a little tempo on that bishop. All right, so Morphy, look at this, brings it here. He wants it to on this diagonal, okay? Very crucial. Protecting that center. That's the key right here. Morphy's got space advantage. He's got a big center, okay, and he has control of the center squares. He has the bishop pair. All right, and here comes Lowenthal with the other knight coming out. All right, Morphy develops his knight, and they castle. Look at this, castle. Boom, boom, bada bing. All right, now, I think Lowenthal right here gets a question mark from the old masters notating this one. I guess he's fearing this one. You know, the pin? He's fearing a pin over here, you know. So anyway, look at this. Watch this now. We got, all right, this little idea like we saw on the other line, threatening that bishop, threatening to trap that bishop on b6. Lowenthal creates a hole. Here comes the queen. All right, here comes the queen. Developing off the back rank, linking up them rooks. All right, here comes the rook. Lowenthal plays the rook to e8, beaming down, you know. The tactics could fly. You got the queen on the same file here. All right, look at this. Now an exclamation point for Morphy, moving it off that open E file of the black rook. And lo and behold, you know, I looked at this for a while. It was trying to make sense. I mean, they gave it an exclamation point. And, I don't really know other than what's coming, folks. You know, maybe they gave it because you're going to see how it influences the queen plays against this knight. Maybe that's the reasoning. All right, anyway, here we go. Let's get into it. Here we go. Now Lowenthal strikes in the center, given the question mark by the old masters. Why? Because why would you take, folks, right? Why would you take over here? This makes no sense at all, right? Why? Because look, now you're giving black. All right, they decide to take like this. The engine's giving it an equal now, a totally equal game, right? I mean, it's white still has control of e4, but you got the open file. You got this d pawn will be isolated if you try to push c4, and if you don't, the other rook's coming over. I'm sorry, it's black's move, right? I don't know, just make a move, right? Black's gonna eventually take this, put pressure on that pawn. All right, so look at the difference, folks. This is the point, right? It's so obvious. You've got center control. Now you're pushing up further. You're opening the diagonal for your queen. You're hitting the knight. Where's the knight going to go? Oh, where could he go? He can't come up. He can't. You got the bishop, right? All right, so now he backs off. Now you see the difference, folks. You see the difference of the game. White still maintaining the space advantage. He's got a pawn on e5. Now in enemy territory. This could lead to an attack when you got a pawn up there in enemy territory on e5. You got the diagonal now open for the queen, right? All right, so you got many pluses coming for white. Okay, so now here we go. Look, right, like I said, look, the bishop again. Now exclamation point. He's starting to win a pawn, folks. Do a meaningless move over there on the queen side, and there you go. Look, he's winning a pawn already, right? Or is he? I don't know. Look at this. You lose. If you take here, you lose this guy. All right, there's the tactic that we got to watch. We got to watch that. It's always lurking. All right, let's go over this again. Let's make sure now. You take here, right? You double up. Now, I want you to remember, I threw in a useless move of rook to b8 just to see what's the threat of this, right? So, okay, you got to take back. And now, okay, you take over here first, the engine's saying. You push this guy, see that? Now you push him back. So you don't have bishop takes bishop check. All right, see again, folks, the subtleties of chess, right? All the difference. Now, where's this go? What's this prove? Right? You're just throwing it into the wind. I mean, you're winning 2 pawns for the piece, but you're not winning this guy with check, right? Like in the other line. All right, so keep this in mind, because this tactic plays out many moves down the road, okay? This is part of the position, the little subtleties of the position. All right, so there was no rook here, all right? Bishop coming is threatening the bishop takes knight. Okay, so what does Lowenthal do? Here he goes. Rook up to protect. Rook lift to e6. And here the old masters again. Lots of notes to this game. Could have went many different ways. He should have played queen, knight. Let's see, wait. He should have played, oh, I'm sorry. He should have played knight to f8. There you go. Knight to f8, backing up his other knight on g6. Okay? So there you go. That's the way he should have defended his knight. Why? Because, well, this starts to lead to trouble. Not the best. Morphy starts to gain an advantage here. Now watch this. All right, we push this guy. We push this guy up. Very important, like we said. Get him off this diagonal so those tactics don't work. The knight's still waiting. She's still waiting to take on e5. Okay? So you boot this guy back. Very important. All right, now look at this one. Rook takes on f7. Holy smokes. Did you see that one coming, folks? Poor Morphy, the man of the hour. Look at this. Fears nothing. All right, so here come the notes. The importance of Morphy's 19th move is now seen. Without it, black could now. Okay, let's go back. Let's play this rook sack on f7 without playing this one, booting the bishop back. Let's look at the subtle differences, right? That's the theme of this game. Important in all chess games, subtlety, right? Watch this now. Okay, here's the difference. If he takes here like this, okay, without playing a5 first, booting the bishop back, here we go, folks, here we go. Knight takes, let me make sure, wait, now wait, let me make sure, not that knight, my mistake. That one is, that's the king knight. That was the king knight, right? Because remember, in the old notation, let me tell you, it's harder to follow it. But that's the king knight on f6. We played the pawn up, booting him over here, right? Okay, so then we play the bishop, rook up to defend, mistake. Here comes the, so check it out. Watch what happens now. The rook takes, all right? And if you sack the knight now, okay, and let me make sure, wait, wrong knight again, my mistake. Here we go again, right? All right, here we go. Knight, the queen knight sack. Okay, now they're saying if he takes like this, you got the bishop taken with check, queen takes, all right? And that's where they leave it. Yeah, well, basically, they don't even, obviously, the move would be queen takes, bishop. The old masters leave it right there. Bishop takes, bishop, check. And they just leave it at that. And I guess it's a fight still, maybe from what I looked at, white still has an advantage. For instance, when he takes like this, okay, I mean, the engine, gets cute, goes after the bishop on h5. Yes, the pawn's pinned. See, you lose your queen. So the knight, you can't take the knight. But lo and behold, the engine comes up with queen e2, protecting the bishop. Okay, and at this point, it's still a fight. I mean, it's a game. You got white. Let's see. Let's do the math here. All right, white's up a piece. He's up a bishop. He's got an extra bishop. So, what they're saying now. See, white's still winning at this point. Okay. But if he goes like this, he comes back to f3, protecting the rook. You see, and he's up. He's still up. So, you're up. White's still winning. I don't get it, folks. I don't get it. But look, the thing that Schroeder does, he doesn't take with the bishop. He takes over here with the knight, forking the queen and the rook. Okay, but even now, white still holds on to an advantage. Look at this. This is crazy. You just sacked the rook, right? All right, king takes. You expose the black king a little bit. And now you plant your bishop in here, all right? So now you are let me see if I got this right. If you do the math, all right, white's down the exchange. Okay, pawns are even, believe it or not, if you look, right, 5 to 5. But the black king's exposed. And I mean, it's still, that knight is pinned. The knight is pinned on E5, right? Okay, now the queen is attacking the bishop. So here you go. You go back, right? You protect that bishop. Let's see, what is the end? I know I'm moving fast. So this line I didn't look at so much. The genius came up with this one, and now I'm trying to do it on the fly. You know what I mean? Look at this. So now they're saying the rook to F8. The longer you let the engine run, you know, the more you'd see. It figures out better moves. But at this point, see, all right, so now white is losing at this point. Okay, the best they're coming up with is pawn takes C6, huh? So, all right. So maybe this was the way to go. I mean, the old masters gave the line bishop takes bishop check, but the knight taken on E5 is a better move, I guess. At move 20, folks, at move 20. You know, you sack one knight, pawn takes, and then you you take with the other knight on E5. And it looks like at this point, you know, white's fighting now to survive. Black's better. Look, you take with check, pawn takes. Okay, now what? Queen to F4, huh? Queen to F4. Do we take the knight? Can't take the knight. If you take the knight like this, now you got a simple, let's see, queen check, and you're going to take that rook. Queen check, you got the rook on A1, right? There you go. All right, it falls apart. But now, so you can't take that knight. And, well, we'll leave it at this. I mean, you know, what are they saying here? Knight here, I guess, trying to protect E4. Right? Knight goes, look at this. Oh, there's no pin anymore, right? Almost forgot. Oh, look at this. He's just trying to relieve himself. Look at this. You're swapping the. All right. So now you're down a whole rook. Down the exchange. All right. You're fighting, but you know, lo and behold, I don't think. What do you got? You got 4 pawns to 4 pawns. Come on, black's got this one. With a little technique, it doesn't take a master to win that one. He's up the exchange. So this is, I guess, you know, there's probably other moves if you let the engine go deeper, right? But basically, here we're saying, this is what we're concluding, right? Here we go. Watch. Okay. If we're talking about if white goes in before playing that A5 move, booting that bishop on C6 to C7, right? We go in for it. Well, then you go in. Well, black could sack. Pawn takes. Not bishop takes bishop check, but knight takes is a better move. All right, so there you go. I mean, why sack, right? Why sack that? I mean, you're gonna move your queen. Let's say you come over here. Look, if you come over here to try, look, because this guy. All right, let me not get ahead of myself here. I'm thinking 2 things at once. All right, you move up here because you're trying to play for this, right? King moves, and then you get this guy, right? Okay, fine. That's what you're playing for. But look, you come up here. Black doesn't have to take the rook. He takes over here, right? He takes with check. King over. Now the knight on D2 is hanging. All right, so's the rook. The rook is hanging. Okay. So you go up to protect that guy already. He protects this guy, right? And now look at this. You got this move. All right, so let's just go back. Was knight F3, was that the right move there? I guess so, huh? Well, like we said, you know, black gets out of it. That's it. We're going down another avenue, right? And there you go. See, so this is the whole thing. So the old masters are right, but they should have concluded with knight takes e5 instead of bishop takes bishop. I think that's better for black. All right. So anyway, and bishop, supposedly bishop takes is pretty good too. So anyway, all right. So here's the thing. Here's the point, though. Morphy didn't even let this happen, folks. He plays this move. You understand? Whether just to conclude once more to be a little thorough, whether he takes with the knight or he takes bishop check is irrelevant because Morphy didn't even give him that. If he plays the correct move, he hits the bishop first. Now it changes things. Now the bishop goes back, folks. Right? Now he sacks it. Okay? And Lowenthal takes, but now they give another note. Look at this. They're really analyzing this, huh? Look at this. They go back with the knight. If knight to h8, then the bishop comes up to f5, okay? Now the rook's hanging, folks. The rook is hanging. You can't take here because you could take like this with check, king moves, and then you get this guy too, right? Okay, so the knight's not taking the rook. The rook's got to move, right? Because let's say this, I didn't even look at this. What if you play the queen like this? All right, obviously there's a check. King takes. You're gonna win that. You're gonna win this guy. All right, the other rook takes. And where do we go from here, huh? We have. Let's see, we have a queen for a rook and knight, if I'm not mistaken. All right, and we're winning. We're actually up. Look, folks, we're up about 5 pawns according to the engine. And that, folks, up like that, 5.20, that's a substantial lead. You know, that's an advantage if you ever want to call one. All right, so the rook comes back, okay? The rook comes back. And now they claim you play your other rook here. All right, now they give the line knight takes, bishop takes with check, king over, and with rook here, they go, and black has no valid resource against the threat of bishop takes h6. For instance, something crazy like this, you take over here, forget it, it's all over, folks. You're threatening mate. Queen takes g7, and if you take here, well, you get mate anyway, right? That's checkmate. All right, so that's what's being threatened, okay? And they're saying, and black has no valid resource against the threat of bishop takes h6. Folks, you got knight f8. The engine throws knight f8 out. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. All right, so the old masters didn't see this. Is it that good or what? All right, look, let's follow the chess genius engine, right? He pulls the queen back to h6. Now he's threatening to take on he pulls the queen to h5, and he's threatening bishop takes h6. Right? So look at this. Look at the engine. This is what Shredder does. Okay? Unbelievable, huh? Now, there's a move. There's a move. That's a different move. Look at this genius coming up with a totally different scheme. Look at this. Didn't even see it. You know, you do the impossible. See, that pawn on h6 is pinned. Where does that lead, huh? I'll tell you, this game is so exhausting. The ideas, it's endless, folks. It's just endless. Look at this. So now, he takes over here. All right, your knight's hanging. d4 is hanging. So you defend this guy. The queen's coming. I mean, look at the engine. It's basically it's an even game. You know, let's say a dozen different avenues. It could go down all different ways, right? It's still a fight. My point being, the old masters, they wrote it off. They said after this, there's nothing left. With knight f8 holds. All right, right here he comes back. You take over here. Look, let's go with the other idea. You sack, right? Because now he's not going to take over here. Now it's mate, right? It's going to be mate. You know, however you want to do it. Look, you get the rook over here. He takes here, or he check, whatever. You go over. This is something. Wait a minute. If he takes there, right? He goes to threatens mate. Okay. What could you do, right? What black could do nothing. Black can do nothing. He can't protect h7, so. And the king can't run anywhere to f8. See the open f file? Very important, folks. Open f file. You got that rook over there. Very important to the battle plans here. The scheme, right? So anyway, you know, you take over here, forget about it. So look, let's look if he takes there, right? Now, again, it looks dangerous. This looks dangerous, but I think black holds. When I was fighting with Shredder, my other chess program, he hung in there. He's even bold enough to just grab this pawn, threatening d4 and the knight. I mean, you take here, now the knight has to. Let's see, the knight blocks, right? Or does he come up? He comes up. He's just throwing his knight into the wind if he does that. The king comes up, right? And this is funny because now on something like this, I mean, it's almost like he's so close. White's so close to delivering mate. But I think black has just enough to hold on. I mean, when he plays something like this, let me see. That knight holds those. The queen would love to just come here and get it over with, right? Or the rook would love to come here and get it over with. I mean, something like this. Now you force this guy here. You go over there, right? But if he goes there, it's over, right? But he doesn't. He slips over here, and can you believe it? Like he worms his way out. He worms his way out, folks. So, you know, so close, but yet so far. Now, if you go like with the engine, all right, he takes there. Now, you know, you sacrificed a lot of material. You could win the queen with a check over here, but if he comes back like this, you know, look, the engine. Even 0.0. I guess he's going to have like perpetual checks and stuff. He goes to e6. We go to g4. See that? So you're just going to have to, instead of losing, you just go with the perpetual checks. But folks, I mean, again, the knight to f8. You investigate that, because I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Okay? At this point, you know, where does it get you if you do this? Like you want, I want to get the bishop check, right? You come over. I don't know. It just makes you laugh. Wait, look at this. So now he's saying to take here. Oh, because it's a mate threat. You can't take. Oh boy. You know, this is just proving to me I'm getting tired, folks. I'm missing the obvious. But, look, my whole point, I mean, it goes along with what I'm saying here. Here we go, just to reiterate. They say, the old masters give this line, and after queen to g6, and black has no valid resource against the threat of bishop takes h6. Knight, the knight move. I mean, what are you going to do? Take over here now? Knight takes queen. Come on. And now your bishop's still hanging. Forget about this. What are we talking about? I don't know. You're down and out. You're down and out. Okay. So anyway. All right. So there's an idea. I don't know. Maybe that's a possibility, right? There's the possibility. Rook takes, bring that knight back to h8. All right, what does he do? All right, he takes it. He takes the rook, right? All right, here we go. We get that queen into the fight. Queen f5. Okay, now the rook's hanging if he goes this way. He loses the rook with check. And then they pick up the knight on g6 too. All right, so he goes this way to hold on to that rook. So now we got the queen and bishop on him. So we take him, snap him off the board. So now we're down the exchange, right? We sack the rook. We got the f. Let me think. We got the f pawn, right? So at this point, let's see. Let's count the pawns. Yes, we got one pawn. But we're down the exchange. We got a pawn for the exchange, right? We gave black the two rooks, and we got two bishops. All right, and we got the attack, right? So anyway, after the bishop takes knight, black swung his queen over here, right? So now they talk about this. They give another line, right? All right, here we go. Queen f8. They give rook over. Queen over to h5. They sack this guy, give back the exchange. Okay, this is what they give. Take there. Queen takes rook. And then they just give this, offering the queen exchange, right? They say this was better for black. But white's passed pawn must tell in the endgame. So what black does is even worse than this, and they're saying even this isn't that hot, because even if we trade, see, the engine likes it, you trade, and wow, you go in like this. Look at this one. You go in with the pawns, okay? And basically you got that passed e pawn. This is what they're talking about. The old masters just left it at this, and white's protected pass pawn must tell in the end game. Okay, that's a big advantage. And black's not up the exchange anymore, if you notice. See, so we got an extra pawn, and it's a pass pawn, and it's protected by the d4 pawn. See this? Very, very crucial in end game. All right. So anyway, they're saying that was better than what black does. Black goes here with the queen, protecting that rook, I guess. The idea. And look at this now. Morphy bringing the bishop back. What do you think he wants to do? He's going to redeploy that guy to h4. See the check? The king's got no breathing room, folks. The king's got nowhere to go. So what are you going to do after something like this? What are you going to do? Look, you're going to have to block with your knight, right? You're going to have to block, and then you lose it. It's a check move. Okay, so you could take here, but right now they're even saying this to then you could win that rook too. I mean, it really starts to fall apart. All right, so anyway, so what does black do with the bishop pulling back? Okay, with the bishop coming to f2, no a6 was played. He plays knight takes pawn. I mean, now, double question mark, folks. Sheer suicide. They say here with knight to f8, bishop takes, let's see, bishop to h4 check. Now the king has an escape square because the knight moves. See that? All right. Now you come in forking the queen and the rook. And here they go. The old masters go. Black could fight on with g6, though, attacking white's rook. Black could still make a fight. Morphy suggests then for white, pawn to a6. Okay? Now, remember, the queens are hanging. And an example, here's an interesting thing. You take the queen, right? The queens come off. Now, white's threatening to take that rook. If he wants to hang on to it, right, where else can he go? If he goes here, well, let's see. If he goes here, I think you take here, and the only square for this guy, right, look at this one. He's going to, if he goes here, remember the bishop on h4, can't go here, right? If he goes there, what else are we going to do? Look, check. The king takes. Now wait, do we take there first? Let me make sure. No, you attack the other rook. Look at this. You attack the rook. You attack the rook. See? And you're going to get the exchange anyway now. Look at this. They're saying to come here. The engine's saying to go there. I know I'm not giving it much time. We're just getting the feel, you know? We're getting the feel. All right, the knight comes up. Okay? And here we go. Look, now we give the check. Now if he takes, all right, he does take. Rook takes down here. Rook takes. Doing it fast. We're doing it fast. Here we go. Here we go. Right now. Oh, look at this. Knight here. Jumping to E3 next to try to fork the two pawns, F5 and D5. So he plays this to stop the knight from coming here. Ain't that something? All right, so here we go. Look, what's the end result? Look at this. We're up a pawn. I mean, according to the engine, it's like we have a 2-pawn advantage, 2.09, right? So, you know, maybe black could hold. I don't know. But let's go back. Let's keep going, okay? Well, I know I just flung the moves pretty quick, right? Now that's what, listen, after this, let's see here. After this, right, you give the check, he goes over. Bishop there. Pawn up. This is what the old masters give, and they say A6, right? And that looks pretty good for white. He holds a slight advantage, right? From what we looked at, it might be better for black, but look. Even here comes Chess Genius with the same line Shredder came up with. Queen to F3. Now we got the bishop still attacking the black queen, so she moves. And now we play A6. Now we got the queens on the board still with this same ideas, right? So, I don't know. It goes from here. Look at this. So, they're playing bishop to B6. I mean, just look at the engine. Look, black's losing 4.5 pawns. I mean, let's just follow what it says. We take there. The rook's got to go there. Oh, okay, bishop to B6. So now the A7 pawn's protected, I guess. There you go. So now, what do we do? How do you like this move, folks? Look at this knight coming to D6, perhaps. Threatening to take the bishop. I don't know. If you take here, though, right? If you take, well, you take here with check, right? Now, if you take with the knight, you see what happens? I mean, either way, you take with the king, the queen's coming in here, folks. I mean, forget about it. That's a beautiful mate, too. Look, let's take with the knight just to show it. Look at this. See the dark square bishop, folks, on H4. These bishops are really carving up the position. All right, so anyway, this is what you got at this point, right? Plays G5. You take here, it's a check move. Let's just follow through. Let's follow through with this. All right, knight here. They're attacking D5, and how the heck does black defend D5? Look, you're even giving up. You're giving up the bishop to get it. Look at this. You take here. He takes. Now you take. You're gonna win. You're gonna win. You're picking up a rook right there. One move, right? You take the knight. Folks, the pawns. Look at these pawns. Forget about it already. He wants to take over there, fine. Look at these pawns, folks. Oh, look at this move. Devastating. He's going to throw the rook down on F7. Double attack, right? On the forking the king and the enemy queen on G7. Already pulls it up here. Big deal. Here comes the knight. Here comes the knight. Oh, it's soon over, folks. It's going to be over. Where does he go? Over here? How's the rook look right now? Can the rook get in the game? Can the rook come down? Why not just bring the rook down? I don't get it. Knight takes b6. Can I throw this guy over here? Why not? Oh, he goes here. Oh, the queen backs it up. All right. All right, so that's why. You destroy this guy first. Right? He takes now, whatever. I mean, what? Come on, folks. Look at those pawns. We got a C, a D, an E pawn. They're going to storm right down. It's all over. It's all over. Forget about it. Do what you want. All right? Do what you want. All right, so here's the point, right? You play this, okay? They're saying play this. The old masters had that as the line. All right, why not do it with the queens on the board, right? You keep that power on the board. I mean, you're gaining a tempo like this because now he's got to save his queen. See that? And you don't rush it. You don't jump right in. You don't have to. Now you do the a6, okay? And we looked at it. We looked at it all. All right, so and maybe not all. There's maybe other moves, but white holds the cards there. You understand? He holds all the cards. So anyway, now with this, okay, king over, we take the knight, okay, and no, he goes there, bishop pulling back. All right, that was the recommended move, but get a load of this. So he sacks. That's what we were getting at. This is the game now. Lowenthal just goes all in, double question mark with a sack. Sheer suicide, they say. All right, so here we go. We're going to conclude. It's going to come to the end now. We're almost there, folks. So the pawn takes. All right, now, Lowenthal swings the rook over, but watch this. Watch what happens. What if he attacks the queen, right? He attacks the queen. Well, now we throw the bishop here with check. King's got only one square, folks, right there. And now we pull him back right there. We pin that rook, and we pile up on the pin piece. Watch this. Here comes the queen trying to defend. Who cares? We bring the knight right up. We pile up on the rook. If he takes, like the engine's saying, we take back. Rook is still pinned. Can't take the bishop. All right, so what does he do, right? What does he do? No matter what he does, if he wants to pile up, if he wants to try to defend, it doesn't matter. We don't take with the bishop. We keep the pin going. We take with the knight. Then when he goes here and takes back, now we pile up on him. You see how it works, folks? And I mean, it's over now. It's all over. So anyway, go back. It's a little tricky. It's not so simple. Because what if, watch what happens. The king comes here, right? All right, now we can take with the bishop, but let's take like the engine. Watch what happens. You want to retain that bishop here, right? Here we go. Watch this. So now, what you'd say to yourself, what if he double attacks? The king's an attacking piece, right? If he comes in here, look at this. Oh, no. What am I going to do, right? You defend the bishop. All right. Can't take with the king because you got the bishop on it. So, all right. Now he takes him, right? I mean, you're up a piece, but wait a minute. I just missed it. Watch what happens here. If he takes like this, right? Now you check. So, there it is. I was looking for it. There it is. Remember, something wins easy. There you go. Look at that, right? Look at those bishops slicing through. Now, the king's got to abandon the defense. Right? There you go. You lost them now. See? And you retain the bishop here. Isn't that beautiful? All right. There you go. So anyway, that could happen if he goes that way, right? If, if on this, if he takes, right after this, if he takes with the bishop, well, now we pin that guy, right? We pin him. If he comes back here, then we could check him this way, I believe. And he's got to abandon. I mean, the only square is here, right? And then, what was it? A6 now. We could basically bring. We can bring the knight up. The knight can. Let's see. If we take here, if we want, we take. He can't take like this, then he loses the rook. We got two on it, folks. We got the rook and the queen on it. So he's got to take back that way. Okay, and now they're saying here. I had said maybe here is fine. Let's go with the engine. Right? Goes there. What's it all about, folks? Well, he goes here. He's piling up on the pinned piece. And if he takes him and you take back, okay, you see what's coming, right, folks? You see what's coming. Bishop f7 is next. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do with this guy. Right? Doesn't matter what you do. Right? Because this guy's right there. And I mean, this just admits to defeat. You see what's coming is this too. I mean, you got this move, see? Again, that bishop fork. And now when the queen moves, you take the rook. Right? Queen moves. Do what you want. I mean, it's over. It's all over. I mean, come on. You see it, right, folks? So there you go. That's that. If on the pin of the bishop, if he goes this way, well, now we check it that away. See? We get him one way or the other, folks. He's got to hang on to that rook, right? Got to hang on to the rook. But there you go. Look, you got it now. You got that bishop fork once again. See that? Queen takes. Good night. All over. King over. Do we have to even play anymore? Look at this. We just get the pieces off the board. Look at this. Why would you even do this? Why would you? All right. Hey, look at this. You put the rook there. How about that? Why would you do something like this? If the king goes over, big deal. He takes here. You take. You're just trading down. You get swapping down, right? There you go. There you go. No, there's no game. There's nothing left here, right? All right. You could. That's proof enough, right? Proof is in the pudding. You've seen enough, right? All right. So anyway, so we go all the way back. We pull the bishop. He sacks. All right, folks. So here we go. Like we said, Lowenthal sacks tonight. Pawn takes. And what does he do? He throws the rook. Throws the rook at the queen on f5. He attacks our queen. We ignore it. Bishop to c5 check, skewering the king. Okay, the king's got only one. Let's see, right there. I guess that he's got d7 too, right? But there, Lowenthal played the queen to d8. If he comes here, what does he do? I guess it's all the same. We take with the bishop. All right, look. He goes here. We take with the bishop. Maybe he was hoping he'd go in for this with a check. Oh, I got a check. I don't know. And then he just picks up the bishop over here. See that? I don't know. Maybe that's why he went to d8. I don't know. But it doesn't matter because he doesn't take with the queen. He takes with the bishop all the same. Okay, here he goes. He takes the pawn with the rook. Queen pulls back here to f2. Queen up. Queen e6. Now we attack. Look at this, because the bishop, folks, the bishop's running out of room over here. Look at this. Pawn takes. Pawn takes. You see that? Now the queen came up to e6, attacking this guy on g6, and even giving him a square if he wants. But Lowenthal goes for the bishop, and then we take this guy with check. King takes, right? And then we got the rook right here. Rook to b1. We're coming down, and this is where Lowenthal resigns. So Lowenthal resigns. That's the game. See what the engine does. Look, he puts this here. All right, we come down with the check. King d7. We're going to take with check, right? King e8. Check this way. King f7. Rook here. King up. Look at this. All right. Let's just see. Wait. Why not king? Oh, if he goes up here, folks, we could take with the bishop and check and win this one. Heck, check we could take with the queen too, right? He comes here. Who cares what's next, right? We just forced the game. I mean, it's just over. It's a pick and choose at this point, right? Pick and choose. Pick your poison, as they say. All right, he goes over here. Knight F1. Whew. Look at this, huh? So, to give Knight F1. And folks, you're fighting. The king's exposed, right? The king is exposed. You're fighting with two. Look, let's just swap down, right? We swap down. It's fine. Fine by me. I mean, what's that? Just check, right? Where's he going? What's he doing? He's got a block, right? D6. I guess you go like this. Look, as simple as can be. He goes there, right? You're really, really piling up. Look at this. Look at this. You give the rook for the queen, I guess, huh? Look at this. I was saying, just swap them down. Who cares? Folks, look, I don't even care. Look, boom. It's over, folks. It's all over. Come on. Right? I mean, you don't even have to be an expert to do this, to play this game. Look at this. All right. You just don't sack the queen then. You just win it this way, right? All right. There you go, baby. You're in easy street. I mean, Lowenthal, come on. He resigned, moved 31. Let's go back just to give credit where credit's due. He knew his goose was cooked. Right here, right? This was it. After Rook B1, Lowenthal said, "That's it. It's curtains. I'll better luck next time, right? We'll try to get him next game." All right, folks. So there you go. Game 23 in the books. We got it there. We'll see you next time on Morphy's Games of Chess.